All right, we're going to take a peek here at the preview for our upcoming quiz on our trig functions. We're going to be taking it way back here because we're going to get back into some right triangle trigs. So kind of keep your eye on what's going on here. Here, got myself an angle. So let's see, what sides do I have off of that angle? I have opposite, and I have the hypotenuse. Looks like we're going to be using sine. So when I go to type this into the calculator, so I know I've got the sine of 52 equals opposite over hypotenuse, and I'm trying to solve, what am I going to have to do to both sides? I'm going to have to multiply both sides by 40. So I want 40, make sure I'm in the right mode, yes, I'm in degree, okay, times the sine of 52. And again, we're basically just going to go to the nearest tenth like we have been all along. Get my x value. Move on to the next one. This time, I've got adjacent, because opposite would be over here, and hypotenuse, which will be cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, be careful here. You're like, wait a minute, the x is down here now. Yes. Still do it just like it was a number. I'm going to multiply both sides by x. You're like, well, wait a minute. That looks kind of weird. Because x isn't by itself yet. Almost. Right now I'm multiplying x by cosine of 37, right? So if I divide by the cosine of 37, you're like, oh, it's not always times. Right. Sometimes it's good to see a pattern and go with it, but not if it isn't true. So it's not going to be multiply every single time. 106.4. Okay, so be careful. I've got opposite, and I have adjacent, which would be tangent. And again, this will be there. But this time it is multiplied by 19. So 19 times the tangent of 27. 9.7. I'm good. And then finally, we have opposite, and we have hypotenuse. But now I'm looking for the angle. Oh yeah, second sine, 9 divided by 11. Now some of you may say, well, what if I did 9 divided by 11 and then did sine of that? Would that work the same way? Because I'm used to doing it that way. And the answer is yes, it would. So 54.9 degrees. All right, so what else we got here? Well, we're going to need to move this calculator out of the way, as I'm trying not to move other things. Okay, there we go. A building casts a shadow of 46 meters and the angle of elevation is 25 degrees. Okay. Here's my great picture of a building. Okay, the elevation of the sun is 25 degrees. How tall is the building? Now here's the question. Building casts a shadow of 46 meters. So when you start to think about that, the shadow is actually where? It's on the ground. So there's a difference in where I put it. So I get it drawn, I go, okay, it's opposite and it's adjacent. So I'm going to be using tangent. Is opposite over adjacent, and when I multiply through, okay, now a couple of things to notice here as I get down towards my answer. So let's see, 46 tangent 25. First thing I notice is it asks me to do what? Answer to the nearest hundredth. And to label. Sometimes I'm going to change directions just to see if you're actually reading and paying attention, because some of you struggle with that, and when you start getting to standardized testing, which is coming soon, that can kill you because they won't give you partial credit for things. Okay, they give us a picture this time. From the top of a 120-foot high tower, an air traffic controller observes an airplane on the runway at an angle of depression, looking down, of 19 degrees. How far from the base of the tower is the airplane? Now, you're like, I don't even have an angle inside here. We talked about one of these when we were doing the notes before. Got to remember back to geometry class. Alternate interior angles. Okay. So there's my angle measure. I've got opposite, and I have adjacent. Man, going tangent crazy here. The tangent, 19 degrees, is opposite over adjacent. Now here's that situation again. I'm going to multiply both sides by x. That'll get rid of the fraction. And then I'm going to divide both sides by the tangent of 19. Excuse me. And that is what we're going to type into the calculator. Round answer to the nearest tenth. And that's what we are on the lookout for here. Okay. Just one sec here as I get this adjusted. Did you notice what I just did? Set up perfect. This is something like what some of you do sometimes. I just did. What I type in the calculator. Yeah, multiply. I got 2 used into how I usually do things and didn't do it right. Okay, let's get this fixed. That's more sensible. Got to actually type in the calculator what you're right, otherwise it doesn't do you much good. It also made sense. Why was it shorter than that? Got to think about these things sometimes. I wish I could say I did that on purpose, but I didn't. It just happens sometimes. All right. We get to do a little labeling here. A, B, C. A is 39, C is 68, side B is 23. Okay, find the length of side A. So let's see here. So A, I know I've got the sine of 39 over A. And I know I have 23 for B. How do I figure this out? Right, I've got to subtract these two. So 180 minus 107 is 73. So I get the sine of 73 working here. And I'm going to go ahead, cross multiply. Again, the one that doesn't have the A we'll do first. And we divide by the other. Everybody keep an eye on me here. Make sure I actually learn how to type here. 23 sine of 39 divided by sine of 73. All right, that's much better. And again, if we're not told otherwise, we're going to go ahead and round to tenths. So it just teaches me sometimes me drawing can have a good effect on things. Okay, find the measure of angle B. A, angle, corresponding side. B, I don't know the angle, but I do know the side. And do the same thing again. So when I go to type this in the calculator, because I had that covered up, somebody probably yelling at me, multiply the ones that do not have your variable term and divide. So now is that my answer? Hopefully you've said no at this point. So what do I do to actually find my angle of B now? Right, hopefully second sine and plug that decimal in. So angle B is about 15.4 degrees. And I don't know why I left you a spot for the answer, because we just found it. All right, to the back. Find the indicated measures, use the law of cosine. Like I said, I'd give help here. So A, B, C, 54, 11, 6. Find C. I have angle C. I'm looking for C squared. B squared, A squared. Plug in all the numbers, and this is the one where I literally can plug the whole thing in. It's different from when I have all the sides. So we'll get this typed in. Again, I want to be careful, make sure I don't Now again, that's not my solution. That's just what I need to take the square root of to get to my solution. So C is about 8.9 meters. And I'm ready to roll. And I do the same thing on the next one. Except here, I have my three sides. Find angle C. Luckily for me, that also happens to be the biggest side. So 11 squared equals 8 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times the product of 8 and 10 times the cosine of C. So everything's squared till I get to that cosine of C part. We talked before about divide and conquer here. I need to do this part first, then this part. So 8 squared plus 10 squared is 164. 2 times 8 times 10 is 160. And treat this like it was 160x. Treat it like a variable term. I'm going to minus the 164 over. And then I'm going to divide by negative 160. And since I'm finding an angle, I'm going to go ahead and, once I plug it in, second cosine, and it looks like our angle is about 74.4 degrees. And then yes, the review is coming. The review is coming. Oh no. Solve by taking a logarithm. Oh, how do I get rid of these again? How does this work? Any number? Take the log of that base. So when I have log base 10 of 85, even though log 10 is like the one in the calculator, most of the time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the log of the big divided by the log of my subbase. And whatever I get is going to be my solution. So here, I'd have the log of 85 divided by the log of 10. Okay, the nearest thousandth means we're going to 3 decimal places. And why did I just write 9? Here, that's 9. Want to get rid of the 2? Use a log of base 2. But as we spoke about before, don't do this yet until you get the 2 over there. And the way you see it, remember, I'm going to take care of this first. So I've got log 12 divided by the log of 2. And then whatever I get, I'm going to minus 2 from it. Don't minus it from the logarithm itself. It won't be right. 1.585. And I'm good. Now, the last one, and a lot of you will remember, ooh, it's ln with this. Yes, but before you do that, isolate this. E to the x equals 15. Now I can use ln, the natural log. Then I can type it in the calculator. 2.708. Life simple. This should be the easiest 2 questions in the whole quiz. Logs of the same base. You're basically just setting them equal to each other because I'd use the 3 to exponentiate it. And now I'm just going to solve the equation that's left. Keeping life simple. Same thing here. I want to get rid of ln, I'm going to use the e. I'm just left with what's in the parentheses. Start working this out. Add the 1 over. Just because we get done with a unit doesn't mean we can forget about it, because then it becomes a final or it comes and blends into something else and we forget, and that's why these keep coming back. Solve by exponentiating each side. Round answers. Want to get rid of the log of 4. I use the 4. Exponentiating. This is an exponent. It's 4 to the 5th. It's not 4 times 5. And if you need to, go back to my website, go back to my YouTube page, and just type in logs, okay? If you need to go back over some of this, do that. It'll pop up stuff for you. ln, it's e. Okay, e, let's see. Second ln gets me e. Don't just leave that because it's asking for specific values. Nearest thousandth. Boom. If it's a plain old log, do you remember what the base number is here? 10. So I use 10 to exponentiate it. Again, 10 squared is 100. Add the 12 over. Divide by 4. And as it says at the bottom, take heed. There will be more applications of trig on the actual quiz. Maybe I take off a couple of logs. Maybe I just add a couple more other applications on it. I don't know. I'd be ready, though. I'm giving you good forewarning. So study this, look this over well. You'll be in good shape for tomorrow.